I trust that this video finds you well, and I hope that everybody's holding themselves up in this really, really interesting time that we're experiencing right now. I hope that I'm live. This new platform of Facebook Live is a little bit different to what I've been used to, and so if I don't even know if I can see if people are on, and so if you're watching the replay, let me know that you can see this and that you can hear me and I'll just keep going and hope for the best. I wanted to talk about the idea that we get to start breaking the rules. There are so many rules that have been imposed on us recently, and for good measure and for good reason. I'm absolutely all for the rules now and all for the restrictions that are in place. And I really feel like it's a time that we also get to challenge all of the rules. So yes, adhere to the ones that we need to continue to protect ourselves and to protect the people around you. And we get to check in with the rules that we are imposing on ourselves. I was just on a call with a client and we were having a conversation about all of the things that she feels that she should or should not do. And in this particular case, we were speaking about her business. And it really had me thinking about all of the ways in which I have challenged my self-imposed rules on myself over the last especially 12 months, and even more recently in the last kind of 4 or 5. And so the ultimate thing is we get to a point in our life where we get to, start to redefine who we are and who we want to be. And with everything that's going on right now, and with this potent time that we have that is available to us to self-reflect, we ultimately are given the chance to reset how we're being, to reset who we are being, and to feel into who we want to be on the other side of this. And so if you're at home and you're considering yourself, whether it be in your business or in your personal life, I really encourage you to start to feel into what rules am I imposing on myself? Now, those rules in the example of this client that I had was the rules about like how frequently she should show up, whether she needs to be done up with makeup or if she can kind of show up however she feels. The rules about whether she can be vulnerable and show up that way and with raw authenticity online, or whether she needs to be like the leader and follow the leader roles, right? And this actual topic came up massively for me last week in myself around like what rules I am creating for myself around how I show up. But I want to really bring it down to the personal level of what rules you're imposing on yourself in your personal life, in your way of being, in your relationships, in the way that you walk out of the house every day, and what stories are you telling yourself around, oh, I'm not the kind of girl who does that, or I should not wear a mini skirt because I'm 35 years old and 35-year-old women shouldn't be wearing mini skirts. What rules are you telling yourself about what you wear, around what job you have? Oh, for my whole life, I have chosen this career, and so I have to stay in this career. Well, guess fucking what? Right now, we are literally everything is being flatlined. And we have an opportunity to shift all of those stories and all of those beliefs and all of those rules around how we have been in our life and start moving into a place of how we get to be. And so now is the time for you to start to feel into this and check yourself on all of the rules. Go into a place of checking in with each and every area of your life and ask yourself, what ways am I playing by the rules here? And what ways would I like to be in an ideal world? Right? Because we get to create the ideal world. We get to move into a place where our world is the ideal world. In an ideal world, I would do this. You get to create it. We are literally moving into a place right now. Yes, we have to go through a bit of shit to get there, but we are going to be on the other side of this at some point. And when we are, your ideal world gets to be your world, right? And so what is it? Like, what are the things that you would do if you lived in an ideal world? What are the things, how would you be if you were living in your ideal world? If money was no object, what would you do? Because I can tell you now, money is becoming not an object, right? Money is absolutely shifting and changing into this completely different way of how we experience it and how it is and what it means to us. Because we are, again, coming to this flat line. We are coming to a place where we are being equalized. The rich are starting to feel what it feels like to face what it feels like to be poor. And so, if money was no object, what would you do? If there was nobody out there judging you and nobody could see what you were doing and you were just being the full expression of yourself, what would she look like? What is she wearing? Is she the kind of girl that gets up in the morning, puts her dressing gown or hoodie on and sits on the couch all day? Or is she the kind of girl who, even though she can't leave the house today, she's got her fucking makeup on, she's got her earrings on, she is dressed in a way that she feels good because she cares for her, not for the people that are looking at her. Now is the time to break the rules. Now is the time to challenge everything in all of the ways that you have been up until this moment. So how have you been? What have you allowed yourself to continue telling the story that has held you back from expressing yourself as the most powerful woman you can be? The conversation extended with this client to a place where we were like, okay, cool. So if you got to live from what excites you the most, how would you show up? And the freedom that got to create for her, because the rules were not there anymore, was amazing. Like, I could feel a shift as we were going through the conversation. It's like, sister, there gets to be no rules now. You get to do whatever the hell you want. And when I say that, obviously with discernment, you feel into what feels good, you feel into your truth. But this time is about finding what that truth is. Leaning into yourself. Making time for yourself. Get off social media and give yourself the time to sit with you. If you were to sit and imagine what your next reality gets to look like, what it gets to feel like, if you were to have a complete canvas, blank canvas sitting in front of you and you got to create how you wanted to be in the world and you were literally writing the rules, like you were creating them, what would they look like? The rules to me are to express yourself no matter what. That's a pretty good rule. I like that rule. I do not like the rule that I have to look a particular way or say things in a particular way. When it comes to your relationships, is the rule that I can't be bare and vulnerable in front of this person because then they may not like me anymore. If that was not your story, if that was not your rule, how would you want to be in your relationship? We are literally being given such an incredible opportunity right now to shift from who we were to who we want to be. The purpose that we have on the planet, the purpose that we have as human beings, the purpose that we have in our lives is to be the full expression of ourselves. And what I've come to understand and notice, especially for myself, has been that when I be that, there's a flow-on effect. And for me, the flow-on effect feels really good, but to focus only on other people doesn't feel good. And to focus on impact and service doesn't really feel that good. But what feels really good and what I really, how I want to lead the women that I work with and the people that are interacting with my content is that by you being you and you shining your light as you, and that being your purpose, means that you get to create what it looks like without any rules. if there's anybody watching, because I cannot see if there are, because I don't know what this new Facebook Live thing is. I don't know if I can see comments. I can't see how many people are viewing or anything. So if there are people watching, I hope you've commented, but if you haven't, please comment and let me know that you're watching. And hopefully this screen will give me a notification. And if you are there, and even if you're watching the replay, I ask you, what limitations have you been placing on yourself? What rules have you been following about how you get to be? Oh, I don't wear red lipstick. I don't like my hair curly, so I'm not going to wear my hair curly. What are the stories? What are the rules? And tune in. I used to tell the story that I looked way more amazing with straight hair. And it was a rule that I had created on myself, as in, if I don't wear my hair straight, then people will not find me as attractive. And then I decided to change the fucking rule. I was like, well, I don't like that rule because I wake up and my hair's freaking curly. And so I'm going to go with that rule instead. I'm going to go with the rule, which is I look more as amazing as I want to when I feel good. And so I took away the rule and decided that I get to show up and be me, and that's how I get to live. The more you get to be you, the easier life gets to be. Because the thing that you are a total and complete rock star at is being you. And sometimes there are layers upon layers upon layers of stuff that has the real you hidden underneath in a little box of conditions and restrictions that you have somehow either received from other people over your lifetime or you've placed on yourself. And you get to break them out of the way, removing all of the rules and the layers that you've placed on yourself around how you want to be, because when you tune in when nobody else is looking, what you want is probably going to look different to how you have been up until now. We are in the great reset, and it is exciting. It's also painful and quite honestly excruciating in so many ways, and it's exciting. We can have both ends of that polarity because there are no rules anymore. We don't have to only be X and not be Y. We get to feel all of the feelings and be all of the things. So this message today, I really want it to land about taking the space and tuning into how you want to be. What do you want your life to look like on the other side of all of this? We don't know how long it's going to take. We have a lot of uncertainty in our field around where we're going. And so whilst we're in that uncertainty, we might as well dream. We might as well get into a place where we are imagining and visualizing and experiencing a new reality from desire. Because we have no idea what it's going to look like after this. And the more of us that are sitting in this place of a projected, inspired desire reality of what it gets to look like later, the quicker and easier we are going to transition into that place. The whole process, the more of us that are focusing on how we want to be moving forward, the more of us that are stepping into that, the more of us that are taking the initiation, using our courage, invoking our wisdom, and stepping into that version of ourselves, the quicker and easier this transition gets to be. So if you're sitting at home feeling like you haven't got to a stage where you've done all the things that you want to do in your life, and you're starting to see the pieces of your life that you haven't shown up fully, now is a time for you to not shame yourself for how you have been, but to feel excited about how you get to be and how you get to enact and create some of those things that you didn't get to do up until now because of all the rules. I have no idea if there's any comments because the Facebook's not showing me. I have no idea if anybody's watching this, and that's cool. I'm sure that people will watch the replay, and so I encourage you to comment because I will see the comments after the live. What rules have you been placing on yourself? And what rules are you willing to let go of in order to create a vision for your heaven on earth? How do you want to be? How do you want to show up? I'm sending you all so much love, so much compassion, and so much empathy for anything that you are feeling right now, in whatever scale that is. You may be in the high vibe of excitement of everything that's coming, and you may be in the low vibe of feeling the pain and the density of the experience right now, and anything in between. And wherever you are in that, allow yourself to be in it and feel it. Feel it. Feel it in your body, and then choose to let it go, or choose to stay in it, depending on which end of the scale you're at. Don't be ashamed for feeling high or inspired or excited, because this is your time to shine. This is the time that those of us who can hold that frequency of excitement need to show up, need to hold that light for the people that are struggling more. I have had my moments of struggle. I am not saying that I hold this all of the time. What I am saying is that you get to feel both, and that when you're feeling higher, show up. When you're feeling lower, experience it, feel it, release it, and allow the process to move through you. Question yourself in each moment. What is this showing me? What can I release? Because we are releasing, we are purging, we are ridding ourselves of so much density that is not going to join us as we move into this new reality. And so allow yourself to feel it, because when you feel it, you can transmute it. Make sure it's yours. Make sure, check in, what is this? What is it that's having me feel this? Is it fear? Is it stress? What is it? And allow yourself to move it through your body and transmute it. Now, a couple of ways that I do this: you can do physical movement to help you transmute it once you've felt it. For me, I just allow it to wash over my body, and I make the intention that I am releasing it. Allow yourself to feel all the feels. I'm sending so much love and so much compassion to every single person, no matter where they are at on that scale. And while you're feeling all those things, give yourself some space to tune into what you want to create. Allow the uncertainty to create a canvas, a blank canvas, for you to decide where you want to be after this and during this. What haven't you been doing over the last few years that you've been desiring to do? And how can you bring more of that into your life right now? Obviously, we're going to have restrictions around not being able to do things in the external, but what haven't you been doing that you can put into practice now? Maybe it's reading more. Maybe it's watching a movie that you've never watched before, that you've wanted to watch for ages and you haven't given yourself the space. Maybe it is meditating every day. Maybe it's doing more FaceTime calls with your girlfriends because you don't see your girlfriends often enough because you're too busy. Maybe it's doing some online dating. Whatever it is, I want you to allow yourself to have the canvas, create what the vision looks like, and start to put into motion how you choose to be moving forward. And allow yourself to purge and let go of all of the rules and all of the things that have stopped you doing it in the past, because they don't exist anymore. That is not part of where we are headed as a society. As I'm sure you've noticed, the people that were in jobs that were not considered to be important are now the most important people that we have. The checkout chick at the supermarket is more important than the CEO of Apple, right? And so this flattening, this equalization means that you get to put away whatever rule you've placed on yourself, and you get to move into a place where you create your own rules, or let go of them altogether, whatever feels best for you. From my heart to yours, sending you all of the love, putting all of the high vibing, joy and excitement vibes out as I possibly can, and showing up and shining as brightly as I can. And I trust that whoever needed this will receive it. And I'll see you all soon.